This band, Jazz Mechanics, are so incredible. They did a set just before with Mika Barnes. By applause, was anybody here for that one? Wow, you guys are killer. I like that. Two big bands in a row. So they're going to start the show, and coming up in just a bit, one of my favorite people, an incredible host at Jazz FM, but mostly an incredible singer traveling around the world. Heather Bambrick, everybody. She's coming out. Give it up right now, though, for the band, the Jazz Mechanics.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Kensington Market. Thanks to Molly and everybody who makes this fabulous thing happen. What a unique night and what a beautiful weather evening. Can't think of a better night to be playing under a tree. This is awesome. That was a little bit of big band there. That is by the great Jerry Mulligan. Any Jerry Mulligan fans out there? Yes, we love Jerry Mulligan and the work with the concert jazz band. That fact featured our saxophone section. Let's hear it for Brad and Steve and Kurt and Patricia and Brandon, the saxophones. The trumpet work of Mr. Raz Hillens, and on the bass, Mr. Mark Dunn. Raz and Mark. Just before we get Heather up here, we thought we would take this moment. I mentioned the first set, this band has a big mandate to feature such great Canadian music. There's great Canadian big band music out there, and we pride ourselves in trying to play as much Canadian repertoire as we can. We're going to play something by the great Phil Nimmons. Anybody who knows anything about Phil Nimmons may know that he turned 100 years old this year. 100 years, yes, and he is sharp as ever and given the attitude. This band had this great moment just before COVID. We got to play a show down at the Rex where we played the Atlantic Suite, and he came down and hung out with us that night. It was just such a special night. We love to play his music, so we're going to play a really happy, what we like to call the Toronto Samba. This is a tune called The Dorian Way. It's going to feature Brandon on the tenor. It's going to feature Merlin on the guitar. And, you know, both Heather and I and a lot of other guys in this band got to spend a lot of time learning from Phil Nimmons. So whenever you got a big band, especially in the city, on a beautiful night like this, I think Phil needs to be heard. So here's a little bit of Phil Nimmons for you. you so much. That one's for you, Phil. He's up at Thornhill. We're outside. He could probably hear that. Without further ado, let us please welcome our special guest, a true treasure in the Toronto jazz scene, the lovely and talented Heather Bambrick, everybody.
How about the Jazz Mechanics? What a delight to be here, and I thank all of you for. I think you're here. It's hard to tell with the lights, but I see some. We hear you, so we think you're here. Thanks, Merle. I know we're having a little bit of a technical thing here. It's caught in between the two things. How many jazz musicians does it take to get a chord out from a thing? There we go. We got it now. I know. Oddly enough, we're used to working with chords, just not this way. Very much. Brace yourselves. It's a harvest moon. It's going to get worse. This is a tune. If you're a fan of the work that the great Frank Sinatra did, and if you're a fan of the work of Alan and Marilyn Bergman, who are two of the most wonderful, when it comes to writing lyrics that actually work, there are a lot of tunes where I find myself going, what? But then when you hear the work of Alan and Marilyn Bergman, you kind of go, oh, wow, so they must be happy, because the stuff that they write is just incredible, and this is the vibe of this, right from the lyrical content to the way it is arranged, just the way the song sounds. It just suits the title, because the title is Nice and Easy. Yeah. Let's take it nice and easy. It's gonna be so easy for us to fall in love. Hey baby, what's your hurry? Relax now, don't you worry. We're gonna fall in love. Say, so let's make all the stops along the way. The problem now, of course, is to merely hold your horses. To rush would be a crime, 'cause nice and easy does it every time. Oh, yeah. kind of how we looked at full disclosure, that's the theme of this show tonight, because I was in Ireland up until about 72 hours ago, and so the guys were all rehearsing and I was rehearsing something else. So I said, Andrew, what do you think? Do you think we could do this without rehearsing? He's like, absolutely. So we want this to be nice and easy. And really, when you think about it, was that the way Basie, wasn't it Basie that kind of they spontaneously created arrangements on the stage? So just throw the music away. Let's just spontaneously let's just do it right now. This next tune, I kind of think about the phrase. There's so many phrases that we use in the common vernacular and in the world of jazz, and it kind of, you think about this next thing, which is kind of like, don't do anything half-heartedly, which is sort of the opposite of a phrase that we use very commonly in Newfoundland, and you'll pardon the terminology. There's a difference between scratching your arse and tearing it to pieces. That's a phrase we use. And this is kind of like that. This is similar yet different. All or nothing at all. Nothing at all. Half a love never appealed to me. If your heart have known each other since, how long has it been? At least since Tuesday. 95? We've known each other since about 1995. And I know he's incredibly talented, and I knew that back then. That's true. You're very, very, very talented, and pretty easy on the eyes, too. Right? I know. It's not awkward at all. But also just an incredibly good guy, a wonderful educator, brilliant musician, and I recently just found out a great arranger as well. And so this is a tune that Andrew has arranged, written by Leah Robin and Ralph Ranger, and this is based on Hank Mobley. Yeah. So if you're a Hank Mobley fan, if you remember Soul Station, you may hear a couple of elements here that sound familiar. But this is a wonderful arrangement of a tune called "If I Should Lose You."
My hands are freezing.
If I should lose you, the stars would fall from the sky. If I should lose you, the leaves would wither and die. The birds in Maytime would sing a mournful refrain, but I would wander around hating the sound of the rain. With you beside me, a rose would bloom in the snow. With you to guide me, no wind in winter will blow. I gave you my love, but I was living a dream, and living would seem in vain if I ever loved you. would sing a mournful refrain, but I would wander around, hearing the sound of rain with you beside me. The rose would bloom in the snow with you to guide me. The winds in winter would blow. I gave you my love, but I was living in dreams, and living would be in vain if I ever lost you. If I ever lost Andrew Joe.
Could I just take a quick moment to introduce that saxophone section who just nailed that Hank Mobley-ness? Let's hear for Brad Williams, Steve Town, Kurt Lund on lead alto, Patricia Wheeler, and soloing on that last one, Brandon Bashara. Since you've been here for a couple of sets, a lot of you hardcore, let's introduce the rest real quick. Our trombones, Cale, Mitchell, Max, and subbing with us on lead trombone tonight, Mr. Phil Gray, the trombone section. Stand up, guys, come on. That's right, trombones never get the love. On the trumpets, let's hear for Peter, and David, and Raz, and Jason, the trumpet section. Yes. And our rhythm section on the bass, Mr. Mark Dunn. On the piano, subbing with us tonight, the fabulous Brigham Phillips. On the drums, Mr. Kevin Cody. And our guitarist and all-around super double musician, plays just about everything in this band, Mr. Merlin Williams. My name is Andrew Jones. Thank you again so much. Back to Heather Bambrick.
Merlin is actually going to be singing a duet on Islands in the Stream with me for this next tune. Something I've always wanted to do. And of course Brigham can play it, of course. It's actually quite astounding because Brandon and I met each other years ago, many years ago, at the jazz festival that happens in Port. It used to happen in Port Hope, and he's a wonderful guitar player. And so I saw him playing a saxophone, and I instantly didn't recognize him for his Brandon. I was like, oh my, what are you doing? And then Merlin is over here playing guitar, whereas I usually see him playing saxophone. Brigham can be playing keys or trumpet or mouth flutes or nose flute. I mean, all kinds of stuff. So many talents in this band. This next tune is one that I think I probably only performed this in a big band format once, which is strange because I wrote it. But I recorded it many years ago. It's a fun tune. And full disclosure, a gentleman named Keith Power, who's also from Newfoundland, now lives in California, and he writes film and television music, and he makes a lot more money than I do. He and I were performing with the Beehive Singers, and James B., who was here at the beginning of the show, and we did a show at the top of the World Trade Center. And we were playing in Windows on the World, and it was my first time in New York, and I remember being at the top of the World Trade Center, 107th floor. I was thinking, this is going to be fantastic. This little girl from Newfoundland all the way in New York and seeing all of Manhattan laid out in front of her. And of course, because I'm from Newfoundland, the fog follows me, and it followed me to New York. So I swear to God, and we looked out the windows. We finished our set, and it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and they had a little room for us, and you could see almost everything except for the fog. Then at about 2 o'clock in the morning, the fog kind of lifted a little bit, and you could see the top of the Empire State Building kind of sticking up through the fog, and the moon was shining in the background, and it was really pretty astounding, I have to say. There was this little piano in a hallway, and Keith sat down at the piano and he played this line, ba-doo-ba-doo-dap, and I said, a walk in the park, and then he played it again, ba-doo-ba-doo-dap, and I said, a kiss in the dark, and then he played it again, ba-doo-ba-doo-dap, and I said, a flicker of a spark, that's falling in love. And we literally wrote this song in about 20 minutes at the top of the World Trade Center. True story. Excuse me. And then wonderful friend of ours. He went to U of T with a few of us. A guy named Mike McLennan, a wonderful bass player who now is playing in Stratford at the Stratford Festival, and he did an arrangement of this. So this is I don't know. It's kind of it's a little it's our take on a classic. Kind of a Gershwin sounding. How cocky is that? That's my take on Gershwin. But it is. It's our take on one of those classic jazz standard love songs, and it's called "That's Falling in Love." Far back as we may dare recall, some questions come to mind. The wisest men have theorized the truth they've sought to find. But in those matters of the heart, there is no simple place to start. No right or wrong, no black or white, just little thrills, a few small thrills, and you'll get chills when love is right. A walk in the park, a kiss in the dark, a flicker, a spark, that's falling in love. A whisper, a sigh, a wink of the eye, a long, slow goodbye, that's falling in love. From out of the blue, who knows when love's calling you? As long as it's true, that love will seem new. A lingering glance, and then a slow dance. Just give it a chance, and you'll find romance. Go on, take a chance on falling in love. A walk in the park, a kiss in the dark, a flicker, a spark, that's falling in love. A whisper, a sigh, a wink in the eye, a long, slow goodbye, that's falling in love. From out of the blue, who knows when love's calling you? As long as it's true, that love will seem true. A lingering glance, and then a slow dance. like we knew what we were doing. It's like you get one shot at doing something and you do it really well, and then people expect you to repeat it. No, that was my one and only hit. When I was at U of T, it wasn't yesterday. It's probably, well, I graduated in '97. Yeah. We were blessed to have been visited by Kenny Wheeler. Kenny was, of course, the pride of St. Catherine's, but spent a lot of time, the majority of his career, arguably, in London, working with incredible musicians over there, and working with a brilliant vocalist named Norma Winston. There are a lot of people, I'm sure, that may know. Round of applause if you've heard of Norma Winston. Yeah. A lot of people haven't, and that's a shame, really, because when it comes to the artistry of the voice, she had it, has it. She's still 82 years of age. She was just playing in Newfoundland, just like a few weeks ago, in St. John's, Newfoundland, with Mike Murley and Florian Huffner and Jim Vivian, and I love that she's touring around, and I love that she's still doing her thing, because the way she paints with her voice is just exquisite, and the way that Kenny Wheeler wrote with Norma's voice in mind was just something pretty spectacular. There's a brilliant record called Music for Large and Small Ensembles. It's one of my favorites. If you haven't checked it out, you really should. It's one of the masterpieces of Kenny Wheeler, and it features Norma's voice on this, and I'm going to do my best imitation of Norma and try to paint a little bit with this wonderful group of musicians on a beautiful piece by Kenny Wheeler called Gentle Peace. Thank you so much. We're going to do 2 more tunes before we are calling it a night. This one, I mentioned that I was just in Ireland, and I think of that as the motherland because it's so, I mean, Newfoundland is just basically populated by the Irish for the most part. And one thing I realized in going over to Ireland, it's the same thing that I'm sure many of you have done the first time you ever visited. If you've ever visited Newfoundland, you probably realize you don't go there for the weather. And I found that in Ireland as well, and it was. I mean, we lucked out, but I realized you go to places when it comes to certain areas for warmth and brightness of the spirit and of the heart. So if you've ever been to Newfoundland and you found you couldn't find the sunny side of anything, hopefully you found the sunny side of a few Newfoundlanders, and maybe you even found the sunny side of the street. And get your hat with your worries on the doorstep. Just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street. Can't you hear that little clap? And that happy tune is your step. Life can be so sweet on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade with my blues on parade. Over. If I never had a cent, I'd be rich as Rockefeller. Gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street. To do for you this evening. Before we do that, we want to thank Molly and Gigi and everybody, the whole team at the Kensington Market Jazz Festival, all the volunteers, everybody that does this. It is definitely a labor of love when it comes to doing a jazz festival. Well, it's a labor of love when it comes to working in the world of jazz in general. But we thank you so very much for all the work that you guys are doing from that level. Thanks to all the volunteers. Thanks for the sponsors. And I say this all the time. These things can't happen without sponsors. So if you see a sponsor's name on a program or a sign anywhere, please make note of it. And when you can, support them because they support us. And it's very reciprocal. So we hope that you will do that. And of course, we want to thank the incredible musicians on stage here. How about a hand for the jazz mechanics? Jazz mechanics.
Thank you so much. It is our first time doing this festival. We've had a blast today. Anybody who's here and saw Mika, again, such a great, amazing time. The greatest thing for us as a big band is when you get to perform with singers who get what it is to sing in front of a band like this. It is so great when the energy generated by 17 musicians is thrown back at you by incredible singers. And we've had 2 tonight. So really, it has been such a pleasure for us. Another big hand for Mika Barnes, of course. Yes. And bringing us to the big close tonight, let's have one more giant hand for Heather Bambrick.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So this, if you think about big bands, you think about Basie, you think about Quincy Jones, you think about Frank Sinatra, and this is our little tip of the hat to them. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the rest of the jazz down here. To the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my heart with song. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Thank you for supporting this wonderful festival and these musicians. See you soon.